stay.
Today on X-Play, life gets dramatic. Wars turn, and we're reminded of games we'd like to forget. Dribble your balls.
Yellow card is out here.
It's game time.
Prepare to be reviewed.
Adam Sessler. Morgan Webb.
Prepare to be reviewed.
Prepare to be reviewed. This is X-Play.
Hello and welcome to X-Play, the finest half hour of video game reviews you're likely to see in the next half hour, if you stay on this channel.
Today we review Warfront Turning Point, a real-time strategy game set in a super weapon-filled alternate history. You know, it's still an alternate history of World War II because, you know, the originality mines aren't really producing nearly quickly enough these days. And we review Alien Shooter Vengeance, a PC shooter where I believe you simulate a lemonade stand. I couldn't really tell from the title. And rejoice, insect-eating nations of the world, your destitution just got a little bit brighter because we've got a soccer game, Winning 11 Pro Evolution for the 360.
But we begin with a spin-off of The Sims 2 because some people like games that aren't hard or competitive. They like games that are about interpersonal relationships and urinating on yourself in public. These people are your mom. And the only game she plays is The Sims 2. Here's the newest spin-off, The Sims Life Stories. Previously on The Sims.
Gosh, I wonder if Mickey will notice me.
Gee, this party sure is swell.
I'm gonna getcha! Who's a tickle monster? I'm a tickle monster?
Come closer. There's something I want to tell you.
Mickey is my man, whore.
Back off, bitch! Oh god, what have I done? She's dead!
That's right. The Sims are back in an all-new adventure. The Sims Life Stories. Do you doubt the idea of a Sims adventure? Fie on you. There have always been action-packed moments in Sims games, from choosing that perfect tile pattern for your kitchen to dropping a fatty deuce when you don't think anyone will notice. Life Stories is a Sims game for people who don't like Sims games. While you can still play a traditional open-ended game, the main draw is the 2 linear stories included on the disc. You start off as Riley, a plucky young girl who's burned her past to start over in a new town. She's kind of a needy girl. She needs a house, a job, a paramour. And what baby wants, baby gets. Accomplishing goals raises your aspiration level, which makes you happier, which makes you more successful in whatever it is you need to get done, from fun and games to creative endeavors. The gameplay isn't so much different as directed. Riley tells you what you need to do, and you, like legions of panting Larry the Cable Guy fans, get her done. Life Stories eases in new players with plenty of information and explanations. This will drive series vets crazy, but it helps acclimate newbies to the way the game works. Another welcome change for detractors is that a lot of the minutia can be handled by the Sim's self. If your character needs to drop trow, take a dump, pinch a loaf, whatever you want to call it, she can do it on her own. It's still possible to, say, starve your Sim to death, but you have to try pretty hard. Sure, it's a little easy. You'll have to start over with all new characters. But it's hard to fault Life Stories for trying to bring new players into the fold. Just think of it as The Sims Lite, and you'll know what you're getting into. A 3 out of 5. Stay tuned for the next Sims when Riley has a sudden realization.
I'm special! I'm special! I'm special!
All that interpersonal drama, all the accusations and jealousy and cheating, it's what I've always imagined being a lesbian is like.
Fortunately, pet grooming and assistant managing Cracker Barrels aren't career options in The Sims 2 yet.
And that's the thing about the future. We'll never know what it'll bring.
Other than world nuclear annihilation and more episodes of How I Met Your Mother, however much we wish it weren't so, we know they're both coming.
This is why the past is so much better than the future, because horrible things happened, but we know precisely how bad they were. The bubonic plague, the wars of the Reformation, Babylon 5.
Hey!
Well, at least they're over now. But if you want all the been there, done that of history with the uncertainty of the future, try out alternate history, as in our next game, Warfront Turning Point.
Revising history has been a global hobby for thousands of years now. Let's face it, some things are just a hell of a lot more fun when spun by the right spider. Warfront Turning Point for the PC is just the kind of historical revisionism that pours a generous amount of engaging storyline over the part of your brain that loves a good yarn about good versus evil. Nazis have successfully invaded England, and they've replaced conditioned ale with Meisterbrow. And their glistening mandibles are now poised to remove the River Thames' favorite wristwatch.
She'll be big hands by nightfall.
Play as Nazis, bad. Play as allies, good. Or play as Russians, who are naturally Putinesque. They're mysterious and weird and have suspicious allegiances. The title features a trio of over-the-top heroes representing each of the game's factions. Russia supplies a crimson-coiffed assassin endowed with an aggravated assault-like approach to sexuality.
So handsome.
Kung fu and pub darts. The goalie for the US dart team here is naturally an oversexed, shallow, booze, broads, and battle-loving lout named Colonel John Lynch. As for the Germans, it's naturally an excessively engineered Teutonic He-Man, resplendent in the compassionless couture of Hitlerdom. The game feels interestingly revised instruments of life removal, mechs, a zeppelin of doom, jetpacks, trucks. With a zeppelin of freaking doom, you'd think they could have updated the trucks. The good thing about this game, it's got game. An engaging storyline is complemented by solid strategic mechanics. RTSs can be all too familiar after a while, but Warfront keeps the action coming, forcing you to think about a solid game plan. An interesting first-person bunker mode brings the enemies into your sights rather than the tiny optical orbs of your troops. It's a nice touch, but not effective when you're battling on many fronts. Warfront Turning Point doesn't achieve the level of company of heroes. There's some balance issues, especially when the schnitzel-fueled Nazi tanks find you, but it's still a great RTS. What do you think there, Meister Strudel? A 4 out of 5. I enjoy a nice turning point, like that moment Hillary looked at Bill and said, "Your reign is over, now I will be ruining our lives."
Or when Britney stood on the continental divide between super mega stardom and insanity, then showed us her cooch and toppled over the edge.
I would rate it the third most important cooch showing of all times. It goes Baboon to Patient Zero, then Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct, then Britney getting out of an SUV.
Up next, kill things because they are different on X-Play.
Might have noticed some of these things look like dinosaurs.
Conflict boils over like an angry sludge.
Tokyo Game Show.
He sort of wishes he were confined to a wheelchair. It's Adam Sessler.
Welcome back to X-Play. There are a lot of games out there that let you shoot aliens, but few have the balls to be as simply titled as our next game, Alien Shooter Vengeance.
Giant stabbing adventurer. I love Wham. Super orb collector. Keep hitting square. He, she, whatever. It's not often you know exactly what you're getting from a quick glance, not just judging a book by its cover, but by the title alone. And then you happen to pick up a game called Alien Shooter Vengeance, a PC game that gives you everything you've come to expect from a game called Alien Shooter Vengeance. Aliens, shootings, and well, after aliens and shooting, you don't really require much more. There's not much of a story to talk about. Holy Christ! Oh no! Help me! Oh! But of course, I didn't see the word story in the title. No. This is about exercising your xenophobic tendencies while studying Newton's second law of motion over resting bodies. At its heart, Alien Shooter Vengeance plays like an RPG dungeon crawler. As the miscreants meet their maker, experience transforms into better gear, higher stats, or a general proficiency at evisceration across a wide array of weaponry. As stats stack and you lay down the lead, you'll shape your hero into someone who keeps in the shadows and lets his chain gun do all the talking. Or the more adventurous sort to run headlong into danger. Either way, most players will want to play through this short 10-hour quest, if for nothing else than to make donuts in the cascading carcasses. Sure, there's explosions, endless hordes of demons, and carnage that resembles Jackson Pollock in a slaughterhouse. But, as you may already notice, Alien Shooter Vengeance has the dull sheen of a budget title. We're talking cut-and-paste box designs and sound effects that haven't seen the light of day since Doom.
You might have noticed some of these things look like, well, dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs? I've seen bigger spiders in my bathroom drain. We'd love to show you some of the variety of Savage Horde, but zooming in only makes the sprites bigger. Fortunately, I know this kid Alex who lives down the street from me who just loves to draw, and so I showed him the game and, well, he drew some things for me. Oh look, he drew one of the many spider monsters that come out. Here's one of the bigger guys. You'll find that the game tends to mix the faster moving monsters in with the slower, stronger creatures. Is that Alex's dad? What's with the outfit? I think, after the review I'm calling social services. If you've been looking for a game that can live up to its name, this might be a good fit for your PC. We give Alien Shooter Vengeance a 4 out of 5. Thank you, Bargain Titles, for giving us reasonably good gameplay without impacting our mind-altering substance budget. It's very convenient.
And who doesn't love convenience? That's why X-Play is always working to be everywhere you want to be.
Mostly on TV, and on your phone. The boys down at the lab have invented some sort of potion or amulet that puts our show on telephones.
Go to g4tv.com/mobile to learn more. First televisions, then phones. Next up, dishwashers.
Wow.
Coming up, let's just not talk about it on X-Play.
Can you really get a $200,000 mortgage?
Send your brand new computer and free gifts.
I'm glad I called.
Still bitter about Kentucky beating UCLA in '96? It's Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to X-Play. 1998, the world was drunk on the funky feminism of the Spice Girls. We'd just fallen in love with a perky young intern named Monica Lewinsky, and Hollywood handed us not one, but 2 films about giant meteors crashing into Earth. Or so I'm told. You see, I remember absolutely nothing of 1998. I don't know if it was the grain alcohol I was sneaking before chem lab, the violent head trauma I incurred during a particularly intense episode of news radio. All I know is I forgot it. Just like I'd like to forget this next game.
X-Play presents Games We'd Like to Forget.
This week's awful adventure is Phantasmagoria, a horror game for the PC that came out way back in 1995. In it, you play as Adrian, a plucky novelist who explores a haunted mansion that you and your doughy husband Dawn have purchased.
Somebody kept me up last night.
Ew. All of the action unfolds on chintzy computer-generated backgrounds with real-life actors blue-screened on top. I'm sorry, it's hard to tell if that's a car or clip art. Yes, back in 1995, this is what we thought the future of video games would be.
I am the official hint keeper.
Thank God we were wrong. What's mystifying is that somehow this couple managed to purchase the house without ever exploring it. In fact, all of the furniture and personal items from the last tenants are still there, including creepy portraits, haunted baby cribs, and an electric chair.
Ow!
Yes, there's a goddamn electric chair in one of the rooms. And no, it isn't hidden away. It's just sitting in the middle of the freaking den.
Ow!
Wouldn't you look at a house before you buy it? Or at least talk to your realtor. But when Adrian goes to confront him, all we get is more bad acting.
Who's them people what took over the old Caravash estate?
It's Carnavash.
Anyway, it's up to you to uncover the mansion's bizarre past through a series of grisly flashbacks. The bad acting doesn't stop with Adrian. Meet Harriet. Harriet is a vagrant who lives in the backyard with her mentally challenged son, Cyrus. Yeah, there's a sensitive portrayal of the disabled.
Ma, she told me to tell you to come to Dubon.
But none of that is as cringe-inducing as the unprovoked dry humping scene. Oh boy, this is awkward. I should go. As the game progresses, your husband becomes meaner and crazier, a la Jack Nicholson in The Shining.
I bust my ass for you all the time.
Finally, your husband just goes all out nutsoid.
A woman's body is a wonderful thing, but the head is useless.
Fortunately, you strike back for women's limb. Turns out Don's killed the remainder of the cast. He even scalps our favorite character, Harriet.
Let's order some pizza. A little extra sauce.
Don catches you, and you distract him.
I can be that snowman.
So that you can kill him. Once Don's dead, the ancient demon escapes and rips your face apart. Strangely enough, Phantasmagoria was banned in Australia for being too violent. Turns out the government was doing its citizens a huge favor.
Let's order some pizza. A little extra sauce.
Now, let us never speak of that Phantasmagoria game again.
That's the lesson, kids. If something emotionally damaging ever happens to you, just pretend it never happened, and everything will be fine.
Works for me.
In a moment, Winning 11 Pro Evolution on X-Play.
Good evening. Tonight's match is just about to get underway.
Dude, it's 420. AOTS hits the...
Or, my man, so are you. G4 is like that, basically.
They're great. It's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to X-Play.
We have a soccer game.
Or as it's known in the rest of the world, excuse for rioting ball.
Here's Winning 11 Pro Evolution.
Now, before we start, allow me to make a prediction. Soccer will never, I repeat, never be popular in the United States. Period. I don't care how many washed-up superstar British midfielders with former washed-up Spice Girl wives they bring here. It's not going to happen. And you want to know why? Allow me to show you. This is Winning 11 Pro Evolution Soccer 2007. Does that look exciting to you? Yeah, it doesn't look exciting to 300 million Americans either. It just goes on and on like this for hours. And please, save the viewer mail. I can see it already.
Morgan, my name is David, and the reason Americans don't understand football or soccer is because they don't understand the rules of the game.
And they're a bunch of fascists.
And they're a bunch of fascists. Right, how do you turn this off again?
It's the button on the left.
No, I've got that one.
Look, soccer is a fine game, but Americans have enough games to root for. Our sports calendar got so full, we recently decided to stop caring about hockey. Until somebody gets hurt, of course. But you soccer fans know all about that. What with 10 people getting knifed in London, a police officer getting bludgeoned to death in Sicily, and the countless times you crush and trample people when your team loses.
I think I've got it. It's right here. Oh, bloody hell, that's not it.
Anyway, I think I'm supposed to be reviewing a game, not belittling the world's favorite pastime.
Yes.
Winning 11 has been the best soccer franchise for years, and 2007 is no exception. It's also the first year the franchise has gone next gen, and let's just say if you're a hooligan and you want to riot over something, these graphics are a good place to start. The game barely looks next gen, and to top it off, the 360 version is missing many of the features that are part of the PS2 version. It does, however, still have the most realistic gameplay, thoughtful controls, and the best flag screen of any soccer franchise. But who really cares?
You never know quite what is going to happen in this game.
But for the few Americans desperately holding their breath for a soccer game, Winning 11 is the one to have. And if for some reason you are interested in soccer, the game has a good practice mode. Just don't practice with an American team. They're not very good. Where are you kicking it? Boy, this is just embarrassing. Winning 11 Pro Evolution Soccer. Wait, what does the title even mean? Pro Evolution? Is there a semi-pro evolution or a JV evolution? What exactly is evolving? Whatever it isn't this game.
Yellow card is out here.
Winning 11 Pro Evolution Soccer 2007 gets the longest title award and a 3.
You don't suppose they're going to put these in the middle of the ratings?
Out of 5.
It's time for Next Play Replay.
The Sims Life Stories got a 3 out of 5 because it's user-friendly, but too simple.
Warfront Turning Point got a 4 out of 5 because we enjoy a nice alternative history.
Alien Shooter Vengeance got a 4 out of 5. It's a good action shooter, but it's got that bargain game aroma to it.
And Winning 11 Pro Evolution got a 3 out of 5 because it suffers from the next gen sports game-itis. Pretty graphics, but they removed way too many features.
Shall we video viewer mail?
Oh, why not?
And Morgan, do you think that Gears of War 2 will have better graphics than Gears of War 1? Thank you for your time.
Okay, now that's creepy. Please don't do that in future viewer mails.
No, and speculating about what future graphics will be like is sort of meaningless. We're just gonna sit here on our butts and wait to be dazzled.
Yes, and the show that just dazzled you is called X-Play. That.
What's up, y'all? Big C, and this week I'm bringing it to you from Hawaii.